Welcome back everyone, and today we're gonna take a little bit closer look at the new critters from the new upcoming DLC Space Out. And today we're gonna look at the critters, and we're gonna look at some of the plants, see what they're doing, see how they live in. So today I have a help of a few of my fellow duplicants, Rowan, Ruby, and Bubbles, who are pretty much doomed to die in this little room. But as you can see, we have a lot to go through, and we're gonna start left to right, top to bottom. So our first one is the Plug Slug. So Plug Slug is an interesting creature. They live 25 cycles. They eat metal ores. They eat about 60 kilos per cycle, and then they excrete 5% of that mass of hydrogen. They most important part, they act like they behave themselves like Dracos. The most important part about them is that when the night time comes, they fall asleep. They fall asleep vertically, and they produce power. So we can see that. Well, we'll wait till the night. So this is the Plug Sluglet, little tiny one. Kind of same mechanic. This is a plug slug egg. Oh no, colony lost. Oh well. So dismiss. And they pretty much like Dracos. The only downside I see with them is that they consume metal ore, and that can become costly sometimes. But considering how much power they produce, that could be a risk that you want to take. So when they are wild, at nighttime they will produce while they sleep, and they plugged in. If they fell asleep on the wire and it aligns with their output, you can see right now. See, if we would have the wire right here, they would be producing 400 watts each. Once they become tame, they produce, I believe, 1200. They produce a few times more, but they also will eat more. But that is a idea for the powerhouse. That's the first. So next, our next contestant is the Swiddle. And let's read about them. Swiddle, they live 75 cycles. Swiddles are non-hostile critters that excrete large amounts of solid sugar. They're closely related to Grub and exhibit similar, albeit less effective farming behaviors. They eat sulfur, so now we can finally use sulfur, and then excrete sucrose. So as we just read, they exhibit similar, albeit less effective farming behavior. So they can tend a plant. Well, shoot. Let's just put some more gas in here so we have some pressure. We don't. Well, anyhow, they produce, they make see, they just tended that plant. So now the growth speed is plus 5%. And I just want you to notice that the description was saying that it's less effective tendon ability. This is another really creepy part about those critters. Their legs, they creep me out. They kind of gross. So they can tend plants and make them grow faster. And that is the Swiddle larva and their eggs. Gross creatures. Now we go into grubs. They can do the same thing with the plants. So, but The difference gonna be is that they are much more effective. So see, now it has that grub grub grub, and it increases by 50%. And it only will tan those specific grub fruits, which by itself is a good deal because they produce 2000 calories, and then that will increase by 50% once it's cooked. And those are kind of weird. Their wormlings look even weirder, but they are both non-hostile. The interesting thing about these two creatures is that they can produce each other eggs. So Swiddle can produce Swiddle egg and Grub egg. Same with the Grub. It can produce both Swiddle and Grub blah, 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 eggs. So the difference is that if they tend the plant, so if they're tending the plant, they will produce a high chance. They will have high chance of producing Grub egg. Same with the Swiddles. If they're tending a plant, there will increase chance of producing grub egg. If they just eat in sulfur, there will be higher chance of producing Swiddle eggs. Same here. All right, this is the most interesting and so far the least known for me. This is what do you call them? Stop. Beta. They live only 5 cycles. Betas are busy critters who harvest and refine metals to use as building materials and to feed their young. So they hostile. That's one of the most important parts. If we drop a where's that thing? Spawner. If we drop but as any bee, once they attack someone, they die. And there we go. And they did. So that's kind of bummer. This is their beta finery used by betas to enrich uranium. I'm yet to practice that. I spawned some uranium ore here and some metal ore here, but they seem to not do anything about it. Did not interact with it. So that is interesting critter to work with. Next is Scout Rover, a curious bot that can remotely explore new planetoid locations. So it has a battery of 180 kilojoules. Um, when battery runs out, it cannot practice anymore. I mean, work anymore, and it's used to explore the planetoids. Then next, we going into shine bugs, and no, this is not a mod. This is vanilla version now. We have a whole bunch of different shine bugs. So this is a royal bug, and emits light, has been turned purple through selective breeding. They eat all the fruits, I mean the foods, and that's their nymphs. This is ionizing bug, and shine bugs are emitting dangerously radioactive light and in hopes of attracting more of their kind for company. They eat regular depleted uranium and uranium ore, and we can see, well, when I just spawned them, radiation was coming out just them. Now we can see that radiation is everywhere. And we don't see no light because they've fallen asleep. Well, that's kind of weird. I would assume they would produce light, but for some reason they not. But anyhow, then next we're going into coral nymph, coral bug. Uh, they emit a soft light in hopes of attracting more of their kind for company. But the coral morph has been turned pink for selective breeding. They eat the same. There's still no light. This is sun bug. Mid soft light and hopes, same thing, has been turned orange. So those are different colors: purple, pink, orange. This is an abyss bug. This shine bug emits no light, but it makes up for it by having an excellent personality. So I'm not really sure what it does. It does the decor more than others. This produced 160. The other seems to do 100 or 100. Yeah, 100. Um, on that's kind of all they do. So here we have Azure, I don't know how to pronounce that. And they light was turned blue for selective breeding. The same thing, no different function. They eat more uh, particular food now is pepper bread, stuffed berry, phosphorite, and but they produce the same amount of decor, so it's kind of weird. So this is the shine bug, old trusty shine bug, well known. And this is a, come on, this is a radiant bug. The lights of radiant more has been amplified through selective breeding. So I would assume they are producing much more light. But so far this is the alpha test branch and it has all kinds of problems and there's still a lot of work in progress, so I'm assuming that's probably going to be fixed. But based on the description, they probably produce much more light. So now we're headed into the plants, and we are gonna start with Grapefruit Plant. And this is something that I mentioned with our Grubs and our Sweetly. So Grapefruit Plant, Grub Fruit Plant, wild growth cycle is 32 cycles. It needs oxygen polluted, oxygen or carbon dioxide, body temperature pretty wide, 15 to 50. And for fertilization, it needs sulfur again. So see, we're having more and more use for sulfur. And the grubfruit plant that has flourished after being tended by a Durigan critter. It will produce high quality of grubfruits. And so it makes 2,000 calories. And once it cooked, it will be cooked into I don't remember. I want to say 2.5 or 300, 3,200, but it's gonna be more. This is swamp chard, and this is more like a hexalin fruit or not, whatever berry. It's a one-time use. They can dig it out, and this is gonna be a pretty decent amount of food. Let me spawn a duplicate, and we can see this is 2,400 calories. You cannot plant them. There are no seeds and all that thing. This is tranquil toes. Same environment, body temperature a little more narrow. Improve decor by giving their surrounding the visual equivalent of foot rub. So the decor is plus 25 in radius of 4 tiles. And we can see right here. So this is a bog bucket. Again, 24.6 cycles for wild growth. It needs typical atmosphere. Temperature is pretty typical 10 to 30. It, like a mushroom, it needs dark. It cannot live with the light, and it requires polluted water irrigation. And as a domestic growth at only 6.6, they produce juicy sweet bog jellies for food, so that's 1840. And once it cooked, it's like 2500 calories per portion. So this is another grub fruit. This is spindly grub fruit, and it can be tended by those weird bugs here. And let's look at 16 cycles wild growth, same atmosphere, temperature. And I just want everyone to understand that most likely all those numbers will be changed and balanced. Things will be rebalanced, and these numbers are just kind of for fun to look at right now. And it needs sulfur again, so we can see we need more and more use of sulfur. And if it's tended by a Durigan critter, it will produce high quality fruit instead. And it makes 800 calories, spindly grapefruit. Alright, here we have Mellow Mallow. So it kind of similar requirements. And that's again a decorative item. They elevate traits with their calming color and cradle shape. As we can see, they produce 70, no, hold on, 25 each. And our dupe is dying. This is Saturn Critter Trap. Saturn Critter Trap eats unsuspecting critters and digests them, releasing unused hydrogen. So, oh no, someone died. Let's spawn a Swiddle. Oh, it's tending it. And there we go. I wonder how much hydrogen gonna be expelled. Come on. So wild grow 120 cycles. But it can be domesticated and the life cycle will be only 30. Plant meat is 12,000. And it contains, you can see the hydrogen contains from eating that bug, the Swiddle. And come on, how much is going to produce? And well, let's skip to something else so far. So this is a Bliss Burst. That's another decorative item. Plus 25. This is pretty cool. A little higher body temperature, but again, it's probably going to be adjusted. And this is Hydrocactus. They are wild growth. The wild growth is 40 cycles. Air pressure, atmosphere, same thing. Body temperature are much wider. They require sand and polluted water for domestication, and the life cycle for domestic will be 10 cycles. And hydrocacti filter polluted water into water with the help of sand. So this is like a water seed. Once they domesticate it, because here I try to put some polluted water, and they not absorbing it. So it has to be in like hydroponic farm. But then they will make clean water. And well, this is still shit, that's a lot of hydrogen. So that's another possible way how we can potentially produce more hydrogen by just feeding critters to those plants. That's pretty cool and exciting. A lot going on, a lot new critters, a lot new plants. Oh yes, I mentioned all of them. A lot going on, a lot of new friends to play with, a lot of new critters, a lot of farming and ranching to do, a lot of new ways to play the game. Pretty exciting stuff. But as I said, I just want everyone to understand that, and Clay was pretty vocal about that this is an alpha branch and things are gonna change. Things are gonna be adjusted, and they're not gonna be most likely exactly the same as they are right now. But anyhow, that's kind of a little sneak peek on what is going on and what is gonna be waiting for you in that new game, new DLC, which pretty much feels like a whole new game just because of how much stuff in here. Anyhow, that's what I got, all I got for you today, guys. If you like it, please leave a like and subscribe. If not, well, that's totally fine. Leave a dislike, but please leave a comment with what you didn't like. So we'll try to do better next time. Otherwise, thank you so much. Peace out.